Turkey in the Straw Hat because couldn't really come up with a song that had crumpets in it. But somebody did suggest, what is it, Haydn's Trumpet Concerto, which goes things like... Oh, I don't remember it. Used to play it on the trumpet, but the only time I played it on the violin was in the orchestra's accompaniment to the trumpeter. Anyway, today, as you've probably guessed because I said, we are making crumpets. Let me just put the violin down. So, this is one of those things that the very first time I made it blew my mind. I mean, I was texting my niece telling her, oh my god, I make crumpets. They are just like the ones you get in the shop. Which here they're pretty hard to find in America. In the UK, they're a staple. Most houses have crumpets in there all the time. Whether that's true now with COVID-19, I don't know. But this is a really simple recipe. This is actually Gary Rhodes' recipe. Rest in peace. And you don't need many utensils. You don't need much in the way of ingredients. Basically, your ingredients are all-purpose flour, water, salt, and iodized salt is not mind control, it stops you getting goiters, and I've got some yeast in here. So the actual measurements are going to be 1 pound of flour, 15 grams of salt, 15 grams of yeast, and 600 milliliters of water. So the first thing I want to do is actually weigh out the flour. So I'm going to put the bowl on my scale, zero it out. So that's now, also I've got the unit 6 grams. I'm going to put my sieve actually on the glass and, now zero it out. So anything I add now is the weight of the flour. So I want to add 1 pound. So I actually want to change the units. And we're getting close to a pound. And that's 1 pound of flour. And we're just going to sift that out. Getting there. Get that last bit out. Okay. So that is 1 pound of flour. Zero it out again. And I want to give it 15 grams of salt. Okay, it's 15 grams of salt. And then I actually measured out and put in a little bit of warm water here from the 600 ml, the yeast earlier, because it's I stored it in my fridge and it was pretty sleepy. So we're going to pour that in. And now we're just going to mix this. And we want to mix it for a good 3 to 5 minutes. So I'll come back to you in a minute. And actually, I want to add some water as well. We want to add about 3/4 of the water, not all of it. And we're going to mix that up. Okay, we're back. That's been mixed for a good few minutes. And basically we're mixing it just to get some air in there, but also just to get rid of the lumps. So that's now being mixed. And what we need to do is let this prove for about 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm just going to cover mine with some cling film. And you want to put it in a nice warm spot. You don't want to cook it, but something like your airing cupboard used to be the warm spot in our house. Fortunately my oven has like a little proving operation, so I can put that temperature on and then just pop it in there. And we can come back in 10 minutes or so. But before I do that, straighten up the camera. Yeah, I'm going for speed today versus using the 360 camera, which takes ages. Let's talk a little bit about the rings that we're going to use when we get to put it in the frying pan. So you can get various rings. The one that's most common is this kind, which is used for doing fried eggs in perfect circles. So if you make your McDonald's Egg McMuffin, you want a round egg, this sort of thing you use. This one, I've got a few of these. I don't like them. I've had them a few years. The crumpets tend to get stuck in them. You can nowadays get silicone ones. These are good because I prefer the size, they're much bigger. Also, they tend not to stick, but we always coat them with butter anyway. And also you can just get simple rings, like this. These work great. They're a little smaller than the yellow one, but they're the same size as the A1, and they work great. And these are kind of the more traditional crumpet size. And again, all we got to do when we come to do this is just line it with butter. So just put some butter on the inside of these, and it'll stop them, well, hopefully it'll stop them sticking when it comes to cooking. So we'll be back in 10-15 minutes to see how our prover's done. So just taking this out, see how well it's proven. Let's see, best place to get this. You can see it's kind of, you know, it's thickened up. Don't want to go beating this around too much because we're going to fry this now in a frying pan. Okay, so I've got a flat frying pan. You can see I've spread some butter on it, and I'm just going to light my thing. We're going to put it on a low flame. We don't need a high flame for this. And we're going to get my rings, which you saw me butter earlier. Pop them in here, and we'll do a combination of the silicone ones and the metal ones. So make sure they're flat against the bottom. And we're just going to take some of the mixture, and we want to fill these about halfway. Okay. And my mixture, I didn't need that additional water. It's a pretty good consistency. And the last one here. Okay. And we don't want to cook these too fast. We want to cook these nice and slow. And what will happen is after about 3 to 4 minutes, we'll start to see the bubbles that we've got here, but they'll start to actually open up cavities, which is what you'll see with a regular crumpet. Just going to add a little more to this one. There we go. A little more to that one too. So it's not the fastest thing to cook, but the rewards are well worth it. So we'll come back in about 3 minutes, see how they're doing. So you can see now how we're starting to get these bubbles coming up. These are the familiar crumpet kind of craters. And basically we just got to be patient and let these cook at a fairly low temperature. And what will start to happen is it'll be cooking and the top will actually dry out. And when the top is dried out, we can then release them from the rings and then just flip them over and cook the other side for a minute or so just to toast them. So it's been a couple more minutes and you can see how these now are starting to look drier. They've kind of lost their gloss on top. So this one's still cooking and so is this one. That's probably as much to do with the position of the pan on the stove. This one's pretty much done and can be turned over shortly, but you can see how we've got those great crumpet cavities or canyons, which are basically you just got to fill with butter and jam and indulge yourself. So we'll be back again in a minute when we turn them over. Okay, so now I'm gonna get them out of these containers if I can. Always a little tricky. You can see I've hacked away at a couple. Flip them over. Oop. And I had gone around with a knife just to release these. Get those out. Put that toast. Now this one, see how these do. There we go. Much easier with the silicone rings. There we go. And we're just going to flip these over just to toast the other side. Okay, give that a minute. Actually, I'm just going to throw a little butter in there Make them nice and toasty. Say that's good. That's good too. These all look great. There we go. I'm just gonna put this on there. And if I was to bite into that right now, it'd be a little hot. Now, Warburtons have this claim that they made the world's largest crumpet. Well, let me tell you, I had it posted on Facebook long before they started selling them. But what we can do, just reduce the temperature a little bit, is we can make a really large crumpet as well, which if you've got a family works great. You can just put it on a table and split it, cut it up like a pizza, and people can put the things on. These freeze really well, so remember all that mixture I had left? You can probably make about 10 crumpets. We're going to just make one humongous one now. So get all this out. And it's the exact same process. I'm just going to spread this out a little more. There we go. And we'll come back in 3-4 minutes and see how this one's doing. So I've had complaints from the other videos that I didn't cut the pies open, I didn't eat them in front of people. So here's what you do with the crumpet once it's done. Gonna put some butter on. Yeah, we cooked it in butter anyway, but you always need more butter. Things that are really good on crumpets: peanut butter, especially crunchy, when the crunchy bits go in there. Strawberry jam, raspberry jam, any kind of jam. I've got some rhubarb and ginger, which is one of my favorites. I'm just going to take some and be generous. You know, you're locked up in your house. And just to show what this looks like inside, cut that in half. And you can see the, can you see? Is the light getting in there? Let's see. Maybe you can see. Anyway, you can see some cavities. And here you go for people that enjoy watching fat people eat. And I tell you, it's just like the shop. And my mom taught me better than that. I shouldn't have eaten with something in my mouth. But you can see again, cavities, delicious. Enjoy them, have fun. And my big crumpet's a bit too big for my plate, but it's a good, healthy serving size. Just to give you a comparison, that's my hand. Anyway, hope you enjoy making crumpets. Remember to post pictures of what you make. See ya.